Today's video is really aimed at the individual who has considered becoming a content creator, maybe perhaps a blogger or an artist, something that requires you to put yourself out there, but you haven't pulled the trigger because you've had doubts about your capabilities to follow through. You wonder if what you have to say, think, or do is of any value. And what I'm hoping that this video does for you is give you some level of confidence to be able to take your beginning steps toward making something happen that previously you've only thought of. Where this is all coming from is a book that I've read recently called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. Now, how I found out about this book was from a YouTuber that I follow. His name is Ali Abdal. And he has a lot of great content, but this particular video where he talked about this book was something like how I made $1 million in a year blogging or writing blogs or something like that. I'll attach it to the end screen of this video so you can click right onto it and watch it. But that's how I found out about this book. Now, Austin Kleon really made a name for himself in a couple different ways, but one of the things he's known for is one of his TED Talks called Still Like an Artist. I'll also link that video on the end screen. Austin Kleon has some very interesting things to say. You can click on the link in the description and get this for yourself. It's a very easy read. The chapters are short, lots of pictures. This is one of those books, it's not meant to be bitten off in big chunks. You actually read this in small portions, and I read it through pretty quick, but I will probably continue to read maybe a chapter a day until I've read this thing through about 10 times. Now, this is the problem that a lot of people run into. They think they have to be a lot smarter than what they are because we watch these YouTubers and they seem to have just a great production style. They seem to know how to edit. They seem to know what to say. They know where to splice. They know where to cut things together, what to trim off. And they are apparently taking impeccable notes. And so that's a little bit intimidating when you start off on your own. But I will tell you something that really got me started, okay, along the same line, is that I didn't really have a lot of confidence in myself, but I had enough to know that I could at least make videos as bad as everyone else. Correct? I mean, there is a lot of really terrible videos out there that get high viewage, a lot of exposure, and an incredible fan base. I don't understand it, but that is the truth. And so my thinking was I can at least make videos as bad as everyone else, and that's a great place to start, in my opinion. And it's gotten me thus far. Now, I'm not a big YouTuber. I have a little over 28,000 subscribers and continues to grow. But I can speak from some experience, and that is I can agree with Austin Kleon in this regard that you do not have to be a genius because, well, I'm doing it. What you do need to understand is that you do need to pay attention and connect with others. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to meet up and go to certain, events and seminars. What I mean is there needs to be a melding of the mind on any kind of platform you can find where people are doing the very thing that you want to do. So you pay attention to what they're doing and you copy a lot of what their approach is telling you. That doesn't mean you plagiarize. It just means that you're not going to come up with anything original and find out that it's working. First of all, there's nothing original, and second of all, you'd have to make too many mistakes before you found something that took. You want to be doing things that work. So, in a sense, you want to steal from different artists, from different content creators. That is, you want to pay attention to what's working for them, and you want to employ it. What he was saying in this chapter was that we oftentimes think that the people who have accomplished great things are people who are just in a different realm altogether. They're in a different realm altogether. They're smarter than us. They're a little bit peculiar. They prefer to be by themselves. Everything happens in a vacuum, and they are using all original ideas and material. That's not the case at all. All the classical composers had great teachers. They've all borrowed from somebody else. All the great artists, all the great actors. You know, if you listen to them talk, they'll talk about who influenced them. And they borrowed from others, and that's what you need to do. So don't be afraid to borrow from others. And it's about implementing something that actually works and making it work for yourself. Because you don't want to think that you have to be original. And if you're attempting to be original, you're gonna end up showing something completely new to audiences. And you know what people like to see? Something that's familiar, something that makes them feel comfortable. And that's how you have to think. Ask yourself if you have anything to contribute. Chances are you think you do, or else you never would have considered even starting your own channel or starting your own podcast. Displaying your own art. You must think you have something to contribute, but you haven't pulled the trigger yet because you might have thought that you need to be a lot smarter or be a little more original. And that's not the case. This book has really helped me in a lot of different ways. I've only told you about something he's touched on in the first chapter. There's much, much more. I do highly recommend getting this book. So click on the link down below and make sure you get this for yourself. It's definitely worth it, and it's not expensive at all. I just got out of BioLife from donating plasma. It's a great way to make some extra money. I would look into it for yourself. They are not sponsoring this video, but I do want to tell you about them. If you find a BioLife in your area, you can set an appointment, go in, do a screening, and then you can start making appointments to start donating plasma. They will give you a debit card, and for every donation you make, they deposit money into that account. And it ends up being, hundreds of dollars a month. And while it may not be a ton of money, it sure beats the heck out of getting a part-time job. You can pay for your gas, maybe your education, your car, your utility bills, whatever it is you want to use it on. If you want to use it for Christmas gifts and save it up all year long, you can do that. The money builds quickly, but it's a great extra source of income. And at the same time, the plasma helps save lives where people with rare diseases are concerned. And in so many ways, it's so helpful. So check that out. They're going to ask you who referred you. Please tell them David Boswell. I know you know me as Greg Boswell, but BioLife knows me as David Boswell. So make sure you give them that name, and that will help me out also. So please look into that. It may be for you, it may not be, but it's very interesting nonetheless. So guys, I hope that this is giving you a little bit of an idea about how you can get started creating content and maybe take baby steps in the direction that you really want to go. You might find out that by focusing on the little that you can do, you might actually get pretty far. All right, I hope that's helped. Guys, I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.